Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and we're charting a course towards freedom and backhanding every bit of tyranny we see along the way. Rhino or Democrat, it doesn't matter. We are not discriminatory in our tyranny slapping. But, guys, when I tell you that this video is going to bring you joy, how's this for a setup? Democrats are so bent over a barrel around the whole shut down the government or let Trump win thing that reporters can actively hear Democrat senators screaming through closed-door meetings about how screwed they are. Guys, this one you're going to want to send out. Everything's linked into the description box below. I always bring the receipts. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because YouTube is doing that thing again where they accidentally unsubscribe dead accounts to interrupt your freedom prescription. Don't let them get away with it and abscond away with your freedom. Let's get it. With that said, people, listen, this one's going to make you happy. I'm telling you, you're going to love every second of it. All right. So, where we are covering all this is at X, so make sure you jump over on X. Just follow me at Braden LOA. It's up to the minute, sometimes up to the hour, and occasionally upon the daily. We are pursuing freedom. We're having an amazing exchange. I'd love for you guys to get over there. I interact all the time with you guys, and we build a broader prescription of freedom, as we alluded to earlier. Make sure you do at X, or on X, at Braden LOA. Let's get into the screaming, because that's why you guys came. Let's just be honest. So, when you're talking about statesmanship and politics and the way that's perceived and all these different pieces that they love to do in Washington, D.C., when you get reports that are coming out of closed-door meetings where the senators on the Democrat side, only meeting with senators, are screaming so loud about how bad they're losing in this whole shut down the government thing, that reporters are quoting them through doors. Watch this. All right. Breaking. As Democrats are stressing over potentially causing a government shutdown, reports are that Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat in New York, is screaming so loud that reporters can hear what she's saying in a closed-door meeting. She reportedly opposes the shutdown and is concerned about political fallout now that the Trump White House seems to have successfully pinned any shutdown on Democrats. That, my friends, is not good if you're on the Democrat side of the aisle. Now, why is this a thing? Why are we covering it? Because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our gun rights does not happen in a vacuum. The fight to push these things forward, again, not in a vacuum. You have to look at the entire picture. You have to back out, look at the opponents who consistently fund, support, and back gun control, a la Kirsten Gillibrand and the Democrats in those closed-door meetings, and you have to see where they're losing. Because this fight that they're talking about, it's not about funding the government right now, guys. This is about how they're going to get 2026 House back and then hopefully the Senate in 2028. That's what this is about. But they're losing so badly, they're screaming at each other. In fact, here's another site, some other quotes, again through closed doors. This is the perfect encapsulation of Senate Dems right now. Behind closed doors, most of them seem to agree that a shutdown, especially in this particular moment, could be much more painful substantively and politically than a previous shutdown. The table has turned because you gave the Republicans the House, the Senate, and the White House. It's not as easy to play their games. That's what that means. That's what translation. Now, of course, they have to show that they're fighting Trump and the Republicans, but listen to this quote, again, through a screaming door. Gillibrand, quote, "These are not Trump dolt pipeline workers in the Rust Belt. These are our workers in the government. There's already a glut of homes in the Beltway up for sale. We can't allow this." Meaning, all the acolytes in D.C., not the dolt Rust Belt workers, you know, those piddly little peons, not those guys. The Beltway workers, the government workers, the ones in the bureaucracies. They're selling their homes. Yeah, times are changing. That's where we're winning. This is the whole point. They are so screwed either way, and this is why it's important to play this game and understand how the game is played. Watch this. This is, again, from CNN, and multiple senators are openly saying they're getting smoked. And then I'm going to show you an article. Guys, this is like Lord of the Flies. Watch this.
This is saying, let's just give up even more of our constitutional authority because, hey, he can do a lot worse later on. And so to me, that's capitulating to someone who's already showing that he's reckless and willing to do a lot of destruction. We are in a perverse, bizarro land where we're having to decide between letting Donald Trump wreck the government this way or wreck the government that way. So at what point do you say I'm going to stand and fight? If you guys block them.
All right. We're in a bizarro world where Trump wins in this scenario or Trump wins in that scenario. That's going to come up in the article I'm about to show you next, so stay tuned for it. But understand that Cory Booker, the guy you just saw talking, he's in a deep blue state. He's going nowhere. He has no personal concerns. This is what they do. Like the Nancy Pelosi's and the House speakerships, or the Chuck Schumer and the Senate Majority Leader, the what's his face? I just said his name, Cory Booker. You know, gladiator guy. I am Spartacus. You know that whole thing. That guy is safe. So he's like, well, we're capitulating. Well, we're losing. We're going to do this. Meanwhile, the other Democrats are freaking out. Watch this.
It's going to be a shutdown, and you essentially could be playing with fire here.
Well, it'll be a Republican shutdown.
But not all Democrats are on that same page. Senator John Fetterman, for one, has been the most outspoken in supporting the Republican plan because he wants to avoid a government shutdown. Democrats are concerned that that plan cuts domestic spending, does not rein in Donald Trump, does not rein in Elon Musk. But with the House out of town, the Senate, Republicans in charge of the House and the Senate, that may be their only choice to avoid a government shutdown, which is why we are hearing that there are a growing number of Senate Democrats willing to allow that House plan to become law and avert a shutdown by tomorrow night.
All right. We're about to get into the really important piece here. But you have to understand, with that whole long game of winning and fixing the country, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. You're going to have bad moments. You're going to have great moments. I.e., the bad moment would be like, hey, what's going on with that AG situation? Then the good moments would be like, wow, they are getting smoked. Okay, let's continue. So as you can see, many Democrats are faltering. Even Fetterman, some other ones. Guys, they're screaming through closed-door meetings to where they can be quoted. Let me show you another CNN article because they know what's happening. I got a few highlighted points here. I'll try to run through them quickly. Check this out. Washington Democrats finally have a first point of leverage against President Donald Trump, but it comes with a dilemma that could leave them looking even more hapless than they have so far in his second term. This is about their perception. The pressure point arises over a temporary government funding bill that could provide cover for the president's anti-government purge, and as Democrat voters pine for their lawmakers to show some fight. The point is, the Democrats don't have the fight ability. The only thing they have is the filibuster, which they are literally walking away from right now in this article. That's what you're seeing. The reason that we're hitting this is because as these fights continue, and when the legislature comes down and we still, I don't know, get a gun bill, or we get national reciprocity, or we get some sort of removal from the NFA, like the suppressors. Guys, this is how it works. They're running for the hills on a funding thing because they don't want the proverbial guilt of the shutdown. Let's continue. Democratic leaders face a paradoxical choice. Should they shut down the government or try to save it? That gamble could come with a significant downside, as shuttered agencies and thousands of furloughed federal workers could be left even more vulnerable to a metaphorical chainsaw wielded by Elon Musk. Do you understand the problem? The problem is, if they shut down the government, then they get the blame for the government and the government shrinks. If they don't shut down the government, then Elon Musk gets to shrink the government. That's the point. It's about cutting spending. So if cutting spending is going on the table and they're going to get it one way or the other, hook or by crook, Donald Trump and the Republicans just pulled a fast one on the Democrats and put them in a position where they can't win. This is how you politic. Just saying. Let's keep going. Democrats' choices will play out against a backdrop of mounting frustration from progressives. Remember that whole Democrat-progressive war I was telling you about? Whose despair after the 2024 election has turned to horror as Trump has turned Washington upside down in his first 50 days in office and set about fracturing the liberal world order that has prevailed for 80 years. Should we set up camp on the fact that they just referenced the liberal world order that has been set up and prevailed for 80 years? I mean, I thought that's the new world order. Like, that's like NWO kind of stuff. Like, you know, all the three letters you can't say. Yeah, what? CNN's getting so bold, they're getting their butt kicked, they're saying this kind of stuff. Let's continue. History shows that Republicans usually get the blame for the kind of partial government shutdown that will begin at midnight Friday, unless the Senate approves new spending to keep it open. But Trump and Musk, with their stunning moves to shred the federal machine, have scrambled political logic, leaving both parties gaming out novel calculations that have changed the politics of shutdown dramas. Do you hear that? Do you read between the lines? This is not politics as normal. The political class doesn't know how to operate in something they are not fully controlling. That's what you're seeing. They are falling apart because, well, normally Democrats have power and the Republicans say this and we meet in the middle and we all get our sacred cows, we get some pork, we roll it in there and the Beltway is happy. Well, in this case, it's, hey, we're going to rip the government apart with a shredder. You want it done this way or you want it done this way? And they don't know what to do. Guys, the same thing's going to happen with all the priorities Trump's going to put forward in the next legislative push. The next 12 months are going to be off the chain. I mean, literally, I don't even know what's going to happen. I just know they're off the chain. Keep going. Quote, I'm going to vote against what came over from the House Republicans to the Senate last night because I don't want to give my vote to support what Trump and Musk are doing, Chris Coons, the Delaware senator, said. But if Democrats take this path, they'll be closing down the government at the very time Trump is trying to destroy it. That's a sentence. Quote, if it shuts down, what is Elon Musk going to allow to open back up? That's a big concern of mine, Senator Mark Kelly said. How many more veterans is Elon and this administration going to fire? So there's not a good option here. This is the norms that are being destroyed because the good options are always the political give and take, the horse trading. What do you want? What do I want? How are we going to win here? That's the game. The game is being tossed over. Okay, let's keep going. This is what John Fetterman is saying. He's the new Joe Manchin. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is one of the few Democrats to openly argue for passing the stopgap bill after previously irking some grassroots members of his party by accommodating some of Trump's policies and nominees. Quote, if you shut it down, you will impact and hurt millions and millions and millions of Americans, and you run the risk of slipping us into a recession or even all kinds of other things, Fetterman told CNN's Manu Raju on Wednesday. Remember what you were voting for. You were voting to shut the government down, and that will absolutely punish millions and millions of Americans. And wrapping this entire thing up, listen to this, okay? Because this is what it's all about. I told you in the beginning what it was about, and here they're going to confirm it for you. Fetterman's attitude will look like an abdication to many Democrats who have been demanding tougher action from their representatives in Washington. But it also underscores one unpalatable fact that the party is constantly forced to face. It lacks the power to make real impact. That is because of you. Everything that we're seeing is because of the actions that you took. Keep going. Do not get disengaged. Do not get discouraged. You're going to have hiccups along the road, but this is the position you've put them in. But their odds of overturning the GOP's current 53-47 edge in the Senate are problematic, with only 2 Republican-held seats in Maine and North Carolina, sure bets to be competitive, and with several incumbent Democrats looking vulnerable. If this goes right, guys, you have to understand, I'm going to go big screen on this. If this goes right, you're going to pick up even more seats in the Senate under the Republican banner. If they don't lose the House and they get a bigger majority in the Senate, Katie bar the door. And that's why everyone's focusing like this. Because all the big wins that you want, the big ticket items, that's when they come. I'm just saying. Let me know if I landed this plane. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. Out.